But COVID-19 giving the lab a step ahead.
Well, vaccines typically take years to develop, and as we've seen with the flu, they can be not all that effective. Last few flu vaccines we've seen, sometimes are 55% effective. The one for Ebola took about 5 years, and that was still incredibly fast. But developing a vaccine in a matter of months, that'd be a Herculean feat. And obviously there's huge money in the vaccine business. I mean, companies have to make money. We're not saying they shouldn't. And companies usually request and they receive immunity from any lawsuits filed when things go wrong. This happened, by the way, that you may remember with the swine flu when thousands were injured by that vaccine. But here we are rushing forward again, and we're pushing away some of the more well-known, cheaper drugs that have been used all over the world, like hydroxychloroquine, in favor of newer, more expensive treatments. They may work, they may not, but the drug companies will make real money here. They don't make them, they don't make money through the old generics. We've talked about that before. And on this topic, the head of the White House Domestic Policy Council, Joe Grogan, is resigning today after 4 years at the White House. Most Americans probably didn't know that he used to be a lobbyist for the drug company Gilead. Well, that's the same company behind remdesivir. Dr. Fauci was exuberant discussing its promise yesterday in the Oval Office, where the focus was supposed to be, I think, on Louisiana. And did you know that both the NIH and the CDC have their own charitable foundations? A lot of people didn't know that. Well, they take in millions from private companies every year, and this obviously, in the eyes of some, could create the appearance, and I'm saying the appearance, of a conflict of interest. The CDC Foundation took in $12.6 million from private corporations in 2019. Gilead donated somewhere between $5 million and $10 million to the NIH's foundation in 2018. And one of the leading boosters for the WHO, Bill Gates, has also been a generous donor to both the CDC and the NIH. His 2018 donations included $21 million and $15 million, respectively, to both. Now, we think philanthropy is wonderful. It's a wonderful thing, especially when we're in a crisis like this. But when it comes to public health, it's something as important as the way we proceed with drugs and vaccines. It's naive to believe that these sizable donations are not tied to some at least mutual general understanding about the best way to respond to this and future medical crises. Avik Roy is the president of the Foundation for Research on Equal Opportunity and someone who has long covered big pharma. Vic, it's great to see you. The timelines for the vaccine keep creeping up. Dr. Fauci was on another network tonight saying, well, it's not a rush. This is just everybody's working together and people are anxious to get this tackled. Are these dates realistic?
Well, let's be clear, Laura. I mean, if we're able to develop a vaccine for COVID-19 or SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes the disease COVID-19, if we're able to develop a vaccine that provides immunity in 12 to 18 months, that would be wonderful, and we all should hope for that outcome. But the fact is, as you noted, the fastest vaccine ever developed, sponsored by the World Health Organization, was the Ebola virus. That took 5 years to develop. We've been working on a vaccine for HIV for 35 years, and we still don't have one. We've worked for even longer for a vaccine for hepatitis C. We still don't have one. We do have effective treatments for those viruses and those diseases, but not vaccines. And so this idea that we're somehow just going to snap it a couple of fingers and whip it up and all of a sudden we'll have a vaccine, that's ambitious at the least and possibly incredibly unrealistic. And why does that matter, Laura? It matters because we're told that we have to keep the economy locked down until we have a vaccine, or at least partially locked down until we have a vaccine. And we may be waiting for decades to develop a vaccine for COVID-19.
Yeah, well, Bill Gates gave an interview to, I think it was German television not so long ago, that basically said the shutdown has to continue until we have a vaccine. I'm paraphrasing, but that's essentially what he said. So, I mean, Bill Gates' life isn't really going to change that much in shutdown, but the lives of most Americans are going to change, and not for the better during this shutdown. A lot of doctors have spoken out about this concern for the rush to the vaccine. Again, a great thing if it were possible. Watch.
Some of the biotechs and pharma say we're going to have a vaccine in 6 weeks or 2 months, or using terms like Operation Warp Speed. That doesn't help us because, we have a very aggressive anti-vaccine lobby here in America, and their major assertion is that vaccines are not adequately tested for safety. In fact, the opposite's true.
Avik, we're talking about something that, if it goes wrong, could kill you.
Yeah, Dr. Ortiz actually did a nice interview with the New York Times that was published today, a very long article explaining why these timelines, these 12 to 18 month timelines that Dr. Fauci is talking about, are most certainly unrealistic. Look, again, we want Dr. Fauci to be right, but the likelihood that he's right is very low. And the fact that we're premising an enormously consequential set of policies that shut down the economy on that hope, that's reckless and dangerous. And we've got the plan that we put out at the Foundation for Research on Equal Opportunity. It's premised on this fact that we cannot wait to reopen the economy for a vaccine. We can't wait to reopen the economy for a cure.
Ludicrous.
We have to reopen the economy today.
Now, it's and also the virus is attenuating, according to everybody I trust on this. It's changing. It's attenuating. And SARS burned out in 6 months. With this, we don't know. But the idea that we know that it's not going to ever burn out, a lot of these things are very, very curious. Vic, thank you so much. Great to see you. And not everyone is sitting quietly while we lose control over our lives. One of the people now standing up is Tesla CEO Elon Musk. So on this earnings call yesterday, the tech billionaire went off on these stay-at-home orders.
If somebody wants to stay in the house, that's great. They should be allowed to stay in the house, and they should not be compelled to leave. But to say that they cannot leave their house and they will be arrested if they do, this is fascist. This is not democratic. This is not freedom. Give people back their goddamn freedom.
Joining me now is Dave Rubin, host of the Rubin Report and author of the fantastic new book, Don't Burn This Book.